You got to spend money to make money. We've all heard this before. It's a classic bro marketing tactic to scare people into buying. With the conscious collective evolving into a more heart-centered space, bro marketing is dying. More and more people are feeling disgusted by the bro marketing style and are craving something that feels more genuine and real. Tune into this edition of Thursday's Thought and learn what bro marketing is, why it's dying, a powerful reframe for sales, and 5 tips to enroll people into you. Today's episode is sponsored by my advanced digital training, Unleashed and Unapologetic: How to Become a Thought Leader and Create a Cult Following. If you dig my vibe and you want more coaching and mentorship from me, this is the perfect place to begin. Learn more at rubyfremon.com/unleashed. And finally, whether you're new to this podcast or you're a loyal thought leader, thank you very much. Please make sure that you take a moment to drop a rating and review on iTunes right now. Now it is time to dive into this edition of Thursday's Thought. Hey, thought leaders, and welcome to another edition of Thursday's Thought. Today, I want to jam about bro marketing. Now, maybe you've heard the term, maybe you haven't, but bro marketing is a thing. And in my opinion, it is dying. So let's talk about what bro marketing is. So bro marketing is the shit that you see online where it really feels like someone is trying to twist your arm into buying something, into signing up for something, into being part of something. It's where people are advertising or promoting their shit online and they're treating customers like numbers, just churning out the numbers. They're focused on the bottom line, and you can sense that from their copy. It's a very much a sales first, people second mentality. And quite frankly, a lot of people find it sleazy. So this isn't to call out people in a negative way that are doing this. I believe that if you've been in the online space over the last like 5 to 8, maybe even 5 to 10 years, you've most likely engaged in some form of bro marketing. But the truth of the matter is, and numerous studies have shown this, is that bro marketing is dying. This sense of trying to shove your products down people's throats and being super in your face, like that is dying because people are waking up. The conscious collective is waking up. And as a purpose-driven thought leader on a mission, your job is really to evolve and pave the new way of doing this work, pave the new way of marketing what it is that you have to offer, right? Because you've got products, you've got services, you've got things that you want to, AKA sell to your audience, right? So how do we then do this in a way that aligns with your audience, in a way that is not going to make them feel like they, just hit the sleaze bank, right? That they just got a massive dose of sleaziness. How do we do this then? If bro marketing is dying, how do we do this? One of the things that we have to stop saying is you gotta spend money to make money. Yes, it can be true and it can be false, right? We can learn on our own. People can learn on Google. People can learn how to do their own shit and make money that way. So there's definitely truth to this. You got to spend money to make money. But the way that it's being delivered online in the online space is as a fear tactic. If someone is on a call with, an enrollment call and they're hesitant to spend the money, and the coach or the consultant says, you got to spend money to make money, that is putting on a false sense of fear onto them. Maybe they're like legitimately not ready, or even better yet, if they're on the fence, then the consultant or the coach hasn't done their job in enrolling them, period. Okay, they're not interested enough to enroll. Another thing we have to stop saying is, and I hate this one, I can't tell you how much I hate this one. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're not a real leader or you're not a real entrepreneur. Like, what the fuck? I've actually had several people say this to me. And the thing that irks me the most about this is most people will say this before even considering asking the question, what have you invested in the past? Or what courses or programs or products or coaches or mentors have you invested in the past? Like, there's a legitimate question right there versus assuming that this person isn't willing to invest in themselves. And again, if they're on a call with you and it gets to that point where they're like, oh, I don't really want to invest in this, then perhaps you just haven't done a good enough job enrolling them into what you have to sell. Okay. And that's the truth that a lot of people aren't telling you. Like, if someone is iffy at the end of the call, you probably have not done a good enough job enrolling them in what you have to sell. There's also the false sense of urgencies. I always laugh when people put deadlines on digital products. Like, it's a fucking digital product. It's available all the time. It doesn't need to have a deadline, right? And what this does is you're not really considering the customer's journey. Like, what is the customer's journey in regards to them knowing you, and then creating this false sense of urgency saying you have to buy this product by now? Like, that really, it's a very abrupt message that interrupts the customer's journey, and people aren't buying it anymore. Like, people are waking up to this, and maybe you've experienced this too, right? Maybe you've experienced this as a consumer. The other thing that I've seen people do a lot, and this is very much bro marketing, is poaching from other posts. So someone will post something and then people will comment, and then you see like someone come in and try and poach people on their fucking products. Ugh, it's just ultimate sleaze factor, right? And we've all seen this happen. The thing you need to know about bro marketing or blunt force marketing is that it does not provide longevity. It doesn't provide loyalty, right? Again, it's just sales first, people second. They're just looking to create a quick buck. And sure, it might work, and there's a reason why it's been around for so long. At one point in time, it did work. Again, like, we've probably all shown or displayed some form of bro marketing in our journeys, and it's worked, but it doesn't provide longevity or loyalty. And as a thought leader, I'm going to go ahead with the assumption that you are here to create loyalty with your audience, right? So what do we do instead? Well, number one, I want you to stop thinking of selling as selling. I am a big fan of reframes. And selling can often feel like you're pushing people into something, or you're just selling them on something, versus enrolling. Doesn't enrolling sound so much better? Enrolling them in your digital products, enrolling them in your services, enrolling them in your packages, enrolling them in your programs. So start thinking of selling as enrolling. And then second, you have to understand that with enrollments start with you enrolling them into you first. You have to enroll them into you first, okay? You're not enrolling them into your products or your services or your offers or anything else. You're enrolling them in you, okay? So I want to give you 5 things that, again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not like a super expert in marketing, but this is what has worked for me. And this is what I've seen work for other purpose-driven thought leaders. So let's talk about what actually enrolls. And again, remember, I'm talking about like enrolling people in you, because once someone is enrolled in you, once someone really likes you and trusts you, then it makes it so much easier to then invite them into something to dive deeper, whether it's a digital product, a program, an offer, whatever it is. So the 5 tips to enroll. Number 1 is congruency. you have to be congruent. And what this means is you have to be in agreement or in harmony with what you stand for, right? So many people, I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with that are so focused on selling their products or their coaching programs, and they get into this state of desperation because they need to make money. And they forget all about their purpose and their mission, and they say they're all about it, and yet they're not, right? They're not really embodying it. They're not really um, the fullest expression of their mission or their purpose. You need to be fucking congruent, because congruency enrolls people. So be in agreement, be in harmony with what it is that you stand for, be in harmony with your mission, be in harmony with your values, be in harmony with your purpose, so that when people see you, they understand what your purpose and your mission is about just from your presence. The second tip to enrollment is integrity. Oh, there's such a lack of this in the online space, and we got to bring it back. We got to bring it back. Okay. Integrity is being honest and having really strong moral principles. So in order to be integral, you first need to understand, what are these moral principles that you stand for? What are your values? What do you value most? Like, take a moment today after you listen to this to write down your top 5 values, the top 5 values of your business and your life, of your mission. And that is what becomes your strong moral principles. And that is what you need to be honest about and stand by. And then every single action and every single choice that you make from that moment needs to align with those values. And that is how we remain in integrity, right? That is how we remain in integrity. So if someone is trying to sell them into their like $10,000 program, and this potential client really only makes like $500 a month, like, that is not in integrity. Like, you have just gone after the wrong fucking potential client. Be in integrity with yourself. So the third tip to enrolling is authenticity. So being genuine. A lot of people talk about authenticity as being real. I like to talk about authenticity as being genuine, because being genuine begins with you being genuine with yourself, and then being genuine in all your conversations and all your connections with your audience. Like, really show up and genuinely show up for them. Don't just show up so you can make a sale. And we all know people who've done that. Maybe you've done this, and I'm calling you out on it. Don't just show up in people's DMs. Don't just start conversations for the sake of making a sale. Start a conversation, ask them how you can support them, and be fucking genuine about it. Like, you genuinely want to support them. Okay. Number 4 is transparency. So this is the idea of hiding nothing. Now, I'll be real with you. What you see online, for me, for example, is probably like 15-20% of my life, if that. So I'm not talking about being transparent in showing every single aspect of your life. Like, you don't have to walk around with a fucking camera tied to your head. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is being transparent in a way that really connects with your audience, right? Don't be afraid to talk about your failures. Don't be afraid to talk about your fuck ups. Don't be afraid to talk about the things that you've experienced, because that is what creates connection. And that leads us to our 5th tip for enrollment. It's connection. Really cultivating a relationship with your audience, right? This isn't about, this isn't a numbers game. This is a connection game. This is about creating real connections, real relationships with your audience. So taking the time to genuinely and transparently connect with them, right? And take a genuine interest in them and have real conversations with them. I can assure you, if you practice congruency, if you practice integrity, if you practice authenticity, transparency, and connection, that is going to lead the way for you to enroll people into whatever it is that you have to offer, because you have now enrolled them in you and established that trust. This is, again, in my opinion, where I see things going. in the marketing space and where I see things going for enrollments. And as a thought leader, you're here to create an impact. And so your services, your offers, your programs, they matter. And enrolling people into those things, that matters, right? Because that is how you're going to continue to deepen and widen your ripple of impact. So focus on enrolling your audience into you first by practicing congruency, integrity, authenticity, transparency, and connection. So that's it. That's all for this edition of Thursday's Thought on Today's Thought Leader, where I'm challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. If you dig what I have to say and you resonate with it and you align with it and you want to get more of this, you want to get more coaching and more guidance and more mentorship, I highly, highly recommend that you enroll for my advanced digital training, Unleashed and Unapologetic, How to Become a Thought Leader and Create a Cult Following. The link is rubyfremon.com/unleashed. You can also find that in the show notes. If you have any questions, comments, or stories that you want to share with me about BroMarketing and heart-centered marketing or soulful marketing, then please reach out to me on social media at I am Ruby. I love to frequent Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And of course, if you dig this episode, please be sure to drop a rating and review on iTunes. And then finally, check back on Monday for a brand new episode of Today's Thought Leader.